Hello everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to cure depression. Now, it sounds like a big promise, I know, but trust me, I'm a bit of an expert myself. I studied psychology and I suffered, or maybe still, I don't know, from chronic depression for many years. I'm not depressed anymore, just thinking about it. But I'm always skeptical, I always doubt myself. But that's a personal issue. First things first, you probably have depression if you clicked on this, or you know someone who has depression. Maybe it's your son, your sister, your husband, whatever. So first things first, we need to define depression. What is depression? Good question. According to the DSM-5, it's a state of extreme sadness that lasts longer than 6 months, and it's characterized by behaviors such as not following your personal hygiene, ergo not showering, shaving, etc., highly unmotivated, not going to work, not socializing with your friends, blah blah, overeating, insomnia, etc. You name it. Those are the stereotypical behaviors. I disagree with that statement. I don't think you need to wait 6 months to be classified as depressed. And early diagnosis, or just being aware that you might be going in that direction, is super important. Again, labels here are tricky because people really jump into, oh, I'm depressed, or I want to get diagnosed and be classified as depressed so I can get prescription drugs and medicines. And no, relax, okay? In my unprofessional opinion, prescription drugs and medicines are a last resort, okay? And it depends on the severity and all this, because they can be counterproductive. They can actually harm you more than they help you in some cases if you're not careful, and if you don't accompany it with the aid of a professional, a doctor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or other forms of treatment. If you just take drugs, take some pills and say, haha, that's it. No. Trust me, bro. Pills are only a patch. Imagine you're on a boat and you have a hole. Okay, you put some duct tape. That's the pill. But duct tape and water, over time gets loose and water stops pouring in slowly, but you're still gonna sink. So it's not a permanent fix. You're not really addressing the issue or the cause. You're just masking the, let's say, effects or the symptoms, but you're not really addressing the root cause of your depression. So be careful of that. So now that we know 6 months is too long, I'd say if you're sad, really sad, unmotivated, you don't want to live anymore, you don't want to hang out with your friends, you don't want to eat your favorite food anymore, etc., etc., I'd say in about a week, yeah, you're depressed, okay? It's true that sadness is the emotion that lasts the longest, 3 days. But again, more than 3 days, you're in the red, okay? You're in the red zone. Warning, watch out, alert, all those things. So, and again, you also have to understand why you're depressed. So you have all the symptoms, right? You're sad, you don't shower, etc. But why? If it's just because you can't find a reason, well, I'm gonna go dig into that later. But if it's an obvious reason, let's say your wife passed away, your daughter, your brother, your husband, your son, your father, whatever, okay, your best friend, if they passed away, they died recently, yeah, you're going to be sad for a while. It's gonna affect you. You're grieving. It's grief. That's normal. It's no reason for alarm until it really affects you, and in the long term. For example, if you get fired because if you don't go to work because you're still grieving after a month or two, yeah, you're depressed, okay? But at least that's understandable, and there's therapy for that, and you can forgive yourself for that, and you can be, okay, I'm human, this really affected me. And that's a different story, right? Then you have to go to therapy, right? And you have to go to a support group and talk to people and get help, right? And but yeah, you again, my words are not going to help you much here, but you really have to take your head out of your own ass and say, yeah, my ex died. My ex, I mean, as in my husband, my son, my father, whatever. But that doesn't mean I have to also die. It doesn't mean I also have to, quit everything, drop everything, and suffer eternally and punish myself. No. Get a shower, go to work, okay? You're going to be miserable at work. You're not going to be happy, right, for a long time. You're going to struggle with that, but at least keep those habits going despite really not feeling like it, okay? Then, yeah, you have to go to therapy. You have to find help. You have to find a solution, find a purpose to live on, because grief is that. But at least that's an acceptable, let's say, reason to be depressed. Well, acceptable is a harsh word. All of them are acceptable, but this one is more understandable, more normal, okay? And again, also, divorce, a breakup, long relationship, getting fired, losing all your money in a casino, etc. Okay? Having a drinking problem might be a comorbidity, things like that, drug abuse, dropping university. All those reasons are valid. But again, there's millions of reasons why you might be depressed. So I cannot make a 50 million hour video addressing each and every case and giving you advice with it. I can just give you a general, let's say, norm of how to deal with it, at least taking the first steps, like a beginner's guide to depression, onto how to get out of it, and that's it. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my case, my experience with depression, right? I began to be depressed when I was around 12 or 13 years old. And people used to make fun of me for even saying it, like I'm depressed. And I wasn't joking. I tried to unalive myself several times. I tried to escape from home, from my abusive household, my toxic family. It was hell. Every day I just wanted our car to swerve and tumble into, a cliff and explode. It wasn't easy. And again, insomnia didn't help. All these things, right? But the thing that kept me going for all those years until I was like, 23, 20. Again, it's on and off, but I guess at least 10 years of continuous depression. The thing that kept me going was hope. Hope for a better future. For getting a girlfriend, a wife, a family, traveling, getting away, and all those things. And yeah, it took me 5 long years, to finally kind of escape, but not really. My family always found a way to make my life miserable. And then I spent 1 year away from everyone. That was my lowest moment. I remember being woken up in a park. I was homeless, by the way, by a homeless guy saying, this is my spot. And walking away at 5 a.m. saying, God, I was talking to God, please help me. I really need to get out of this. But things got better eventually, right? Now I have a job and I'm happy. I'm tired today. I still struggle with insomnia, but I'm on holiday, so it's fine. And so what did I do? So the first thing was hope. So if you don't have hope, if you truly believe that nothing is going to improve, things are going to stay the same way forever, Even if that's kind of true, you're not going to go anywhere. Okay, so get that idea out of your mind, that it's a toxic idea. And to elaborate, I'm going to quickly explain the self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, let's say you have an exam, right? And you say, oh, I'm going to fail the exam. It's a really tough exam, really hard. So I'm not going to bother studying. It's a waste of my time. And then you go take the exam and you fail because you didn't study. However, if you say, oh, it's a very tough exam, but I'm going to study as much as I can, even if I'm going to fail, I'm going to try my best, maybe I'm going to pass. And then you pass. Okay, barely, but you pass. So that's a good example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you, out from the get-go, believe you're going to fail, then you're probably going to fail. Because you're not going to take the measures and do the things that need to be done in order to succeed. And if you think you're going to succeed, if you're optimistic, and you also take the steps and do the work to succeed, then you're probably going to succeed. Now, being delusional and saying, oh, I'm going to succeed without studying, that's delusional. That's not going to work. Maybe you get lucky, but probably not. But, so with depression, it's sort of like the same thing. You're probably going to tell yourself that nothing is going to get better, that your life is going to suck, and the best solution is just to unsubscribe yourself from life and go into the next life, either in heaven or in hell or whatever you believe in. But that's not a useful or helpful thought. So get that out of your head, okay? Even if it's not true, just lie to yourself and say, things are going to get better, I'm going to be okay, there's hope. Lie to yourself. Because if you do, then there might be a chance there's hope. There might be a chance things are going to get better and things are going to improve. That's the first step. Start believing in a better future. Otherwise, I don't know what you can do. Okay? Second thing, do the work. Hoping for a better future and doing nothing about it is not a great plan. It's not a great strategy or formula for anything. So, what can you do to make a better future? Well, maintenance. This is the hard work. This is the toughest part. I think it's the toughest step. Things like doing the dishes, getting a shower, brushing your teeth, going to work or job interviews or studying, whatever you have to do to get your life going, that's going to be tough, right? That's going to be hell. Because not a single cell in your body wants you to do that. But you have to do it. If you don't do it, then yeah, things are not going to get better. So you have to force yourself and say, I'm going to do the dishes even though I really don't feel like it. I'm going to study half an hour even if you really don't feel like it. And you can lean into the pain and say, yes, I want more pain. I want to suffer by studying more. That's a way you can punish yourself. If you like punishing yourself, because you want to really eat ice cream and watch anime or movies or whatever you do. And yeah, it feels good, but it doesn't fill the hole. Eventually you're going to get tired of that. So that's one thing that I realized, is that I said to myself, well, I have two options. I can really stop living or get better. Those are my only two options. And I say, you know what, let's get better, you know. So I did the dishes, I studied, I worked, and I got a job. It was hell. It's not easy, but I did it anyway. But it was really hell. And it was really hell because it was so long. It takes so much time, years sometimes, to get better. It is like going to prison in a way. The prison is your own head, but you are in prison. You are hating every second of it, but you have to do it. Because at the end of the tunnel, there is a light. At the end, you do get out of prison, and you see things like this, you know? You see the beach, you see people, you know, doing their stuff and walking, and you say, let's go for a bike ride, let's do things, right? So I think after the hard work, give yourself a prize. After doing the dishes, after studying, after working, after going to a job interview or updating your resume, go for a bike ride. Go to the woods, to nature. Go for a swim. Go for a walk. Whatever. Go to the cinema by yourself. Who gives a shit? Oh, I'm a loner. Who gives a... Yeah, there's many loners. Welcome to 2025. Who gives a shit? Just go do things outside of your comfort zone. Go for a trip. Go to the airport and say, okay, what's the next flight? Venice. Let's go. Or Australia. If you have no money, well, don't do that. Maybe you can go to the train and just go to a 2-hour, take the train for 2 hours or a bus or whatever. Or walk, or just start walking. There's a guy who walked like 400 kilometers because he was angry with his wife in Italy back in COVID days. That was really funny. So yeah, I mean, doing that is gonna stimulate your brain, okay? It's gonna stimulate, well, your blood pressure, your heartbeat, everything is gonna start pumping blood and oxygen and nutrients and endorphins and dopamine and serotonin, and you're gonna start feeling better just because you're doing something. But internally, mentally, you're gonna feel good because you are doing something. Again, your enemy is doing nothing. Your enemy is staying still in bed, doing nothing. That's just gonna dig you deeper into a hole. You're gonna fall deeper into the depression. Whereas if you just walk randomly to places, even if you feel stupid, you're gonna feel like you're wasting your time and lost, and it doesn't matter. You're just going for a walk. And maybe if you are brave enough, you can start talking to strangers. Or even looking for fights. Again, it's not the best advice, I know. But literally anything that you do other than staying in bed is going to be good for you. There's a guy who beat depression, by the way, by fighting strangers, and he made it his purpose, and he loves it. It's toxic, it's bad, I know, but at least, it's a step. I know it sounds really stupid. But yeah, don't do that. Don't fight strangers if you can avoid it. If you can find a healthier option, do it. Go to the gym, enroll in a gym. In a club, in a chess club, in a painting club, in a photography club, and whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what you do. You have to do something to get out there, talk to people, and make friends, and all those things. Okay, that's the healthy way. That's what I did. It really helped. And then, so you've done the hope thing, number one. The perspective, the future. Look into the hope thing, the purpose thing. You've done the maintenance things, the hard work, taking a shower, doing the dishes, going to work, etc. You're going for walks, for bike rides, you're going to the gym, you're socializing, super important. It's the best tool to get out of depression. We are social animals. We need friends. We need people. If you have family or support group, awesome. If you don't, again, there's a lot of lonely people, a lot of sad people. There's people out there that lost their limbs in the war, who are extremely obese, who just, they're going through a divorce, who are losers, loners. They're worse than you, probably. There's a lot of people who their entire family died in a car accident, So, I know that comparing is not useful, but it's a thing that what I'm trying to say is that you're not alone, okay? There's a lot of people with depression, going through depression, with chronic depression, with genetic, things that make you depressed. And another thing that is interesting to understand, because there's a million things you can do to get out of depression, is that there's also a million things that get you into depression, right? There's chemicals, there's drugs, there's antidepressants that make you suicidal, you know what. So be careful with that, just try to find the common denominators, the things that make you feel bad, and try to eliminate them. If it's your family, get away from your family. I did. I'm learning Japanese. I'm going to move to Japan. The furthest away from my family, it's going to make me happy, Bicycles. I love bicycles. Makes me happy. I bought a couple of bicycles and I ride them. It makes me happy, Drawing sometimes makes me happy. Playing chess makes me happy. Going out with friends, with a girlfriend, or to the cinema makes me happy. Lately I've been really lonely. My friends are always busy, always working, always tired. But I made new friends, and then they left again. But I'm still trying. Still gonna try and make more friends until finally, statistically speaking, there has to be one that sticks. you know, because I can be a very intense person, a very unlikable person. I understand that. But I'm still gonna try. At least my work is good. I love my job, and it's very fulfilling, and gives me a purpose. And the last thing, I mean, that's to get out of depression, is just the basic steps, you know, socializing, taking care of your hygiene, your house, a clean environment really helps, a tidy environment. But then how do you be happy? How do you become happy? That's even more difficult. But baby steps, you know. First things first, just throw away the tobacco, throw away all the alcohol, clean slate, you know, forget about your past, forgive yourself whatever you did, you fucked up, it's fine. And just go outside, hug a tree, touch grass, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, go on a trip, on a journey, start walking to China, sell everything, quit your job, I don't care, okay? But you need a drastic change sometimes. Sometimes if you're stuck, if you've been trying to get out of depression and nothing's been working, you do need a drastic change. And mine was moving out away from my family into this lovely apartment by the beach with lovely people. It really helped me. And yeah, there's a lot of good people out there. I mean, it's really easy to think otherwise. It's really easy to be convinced that the world is a horrible place, that everybody's out to get you and everybody's horrible and evil, you know, and just bad people, just nasty people, mean people. That's really easy. You can find gallons and tons of evidence to support that hypothesis. But the truth is not that at all. Most people are nice. I say 80% of people are really nice. You just don't know them. And when you're walking outside, they have their, you know, bored, mean face going on. But no, they're really nice. If you get to know them, you just have to prompt them, you know. Like yesterday, I went for a bike ride over there in that mountain. It's called Monteferro. And I was going out with my bicycle, and this dog started growling, right? And I was kind of scared, and I said, "Oh, does it bite?" He said, "Nah, she doesn't bite. She's quite friendly, this and that." It's like, and I said, "Oh, that's a really pretty dog." It's like, "Yeah, she's like 2 years old, but she's got a lot of energy. Does she like playing?" Yeah, and the dog actually got close to me slowly, you know, and we started playing. And I played for that dog for like 20 minutes, throwing a stick, you know, wrestling and just pulling the stick like a tug of war kind of thing, and all the time talking to the guy. The guy was, I'm gonna go fishing, this and that. Very nice guy. But if I hadn't talked to him and asked him questions, that interaction would never happened. Now if I see him again, he sees me, we're friendly. You know, we're not friends yet, but we're friendly to each other. And I loved playing with that dog. Right? It made me happy. It's a stranger's dog. Who cares? Right? And I kept on with my bike ride, and even the dog was happier because he got to play, and he got over his fear of bicycles or whatever, of that stranger, that's just me. So I made the dog's world better because now it's less scary. I made the man's world better because he knows that strangers with bicycles, and he didn't know there was bike trails. He also likes bicycles and enduro riding and downhill and all that stuff, and he has an e-bike and this and that. And, you know, everything got better by a simple interaction with a stranger, right? So a simple walk, a simple question, a simple hello, good morning, can make someone's day. Be acknowledged. You know, simple thank you to the cashier. I talk to cashiers all the time. It's a skill. It's been awkward. It's been tough sometimes. It's been horrible sometimes, but sometimes just wonderful. And you love it. It fills you up with energy, and they love it too. Okay, most of them. Sometimes they're having a bad day. Tough luck, you know. Try again next time. But yeah, that's depression for you. If you have any questions, there's a lot I haven't covered. There's a lot of ifs and buts and exceptions, and I know, I'm very aware. I like to generalize, and this is like a first step, easy step to get over depression. And again, if you eliminate this, my teacher would say he was a behaviorist. Okay, he believed in behaviorism, in psychology, blah blah, and he said, okay, depression is the only disease or mental illness where you tackle those symptoms and the disease disappears. Because if, for example, if you have tuberculosis, you need to tackle the root cause, which is a bacteria, cock something something, a koch or whatever, bacillus, and if you kill it with penicillin or whatever, or you know, the bacteria dies, and then you're cured, right? Same with the virus, same with everything. But with depression, you can't bring your husband back to life. You can't make your wife love you again. You can't get hired again with the same company the next day. You can't lose 100 kilos or 200 pounds just like that. But if you tackle the symptoms, like not showering, not going to work, not socializing, not getting a hobby and doing things and being active, doing exercise, very important, healthy diet, all these things, then yeah, in time, the depression disappears, you know? But again, it's gonna take you time, effort, constance, perseverance, and just trying to do something every day. 1%. Again, do the dishes. Small steps. Once doing the dishes gets easy, vacuum the house. Do your bed. Go for a 30-minute walk, then a 45-minute walk. You know, gradually you get better and it becomes easier. But if you don't start it, if you don't see hope for the future, and again, you're gonna rebound, as in you're gonna get depressed again, many times. You're gonna think you're cured. Oh, I'm not depressed anymore. Then boom, it's gonna hit you again. I know that feeling. I've been there many times. That's normal. But the more you rebound, the better you get it. It's like quitting smoking. It's very similar in a sense. It's really hard because you quit smoking, you stop smoking for 6 months or whatever, and then you smoke again and you feel like shit, and you smoke for 3 more months, and then you quit again, and you stop smoking for a year, and then boom, and then 2 weeks, and boom. You know, it's like that. But every single time you quit smoking, you get a little better at it. Every single time you try to cure your depression, you get a little better at it. So, going back to antidepressants, they're dangerous. They can be counterproductive. So, my advice is get as far away from them as you can, unless there's no other option. Try everything else first. Try exercise, try going to the gym, try socializing, try eating healthy, try walking long distances or biking long distances, or setting up silly goals like I'm gonna build the biggest sandcastle or the biggest hole, or I don't know, whatever, okay? Or I'm gonna paint the craziest picture. I'm gonna beat the world record in this video game, whatever, okay? And once you do those accomplishments, you're gonna start feeling better naturally, okay? It's gonna kickstart that process of dopamine, serotonin. You need to know these things, okay? But your brain needs stimulation. It needs challenges. It needs hardship. It needs being sad to be happy, okay? So think about it that way. How good you're gonna feel once you finally got out of your depression, even if it's for the 20th time, doesn't matter. And keep going. And that's my advice. I know some of these words are not gonna work. You're not gonna believe me, but just know that I tried, and I've been thinking about this video for so many years. I just haven't done it because I feel stupid. I feel like an idiot, but I'm not. So keep trying. Never give up, like the Japanese guy said. And good luck. See you around.